At 9:03 a.m., the federal courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Reporters craned their necks, junior lawyers scribbled notes, and cameras hummed, all eyes on the towering double doors of courtroom 6B. Pam Bondi stepped through, her navy blazer crisp, a small American flag pin glinting on her lapel. Her heels clicked across the marble floor, each step deliberate, carrying a stack of case files she'd pored over until dawn. Today's hearing on financial whistleblower protections could shift national policy, and she was ready, until the moment she wasn't. Her name gleamed onto brass plaque at the plaintiff's counsel table, a seat earned through years of grit. She set her files down, calm, focused. Then Judge Jessica Steele's voice cut through the air like a shard of glass. "Counsel Bondi, vacate that seat. It's been reassigned." The room froze. Pam blinked, disbelief warring with restraint. "Your Honor, there must be a mistake. I'm lead counsel." "No mistake," Steele said, eyes fixed on her docket. Before Pam could respond, the doors swung open again. Tiffany Voss strutted in, celebrity attorney, influencer, draped in designer white, her phone already recording. Cameras swiveled, phones lifted. Tiffany smirked, addressing her live stream. "Don't worry, folks. Progress means making space for fresh voices." Pam's grip tightened on her files. "Your Honor, I was assigned this table." Steele didn't flinch. "Miss Voss has special communications clearance as court liaison. Your placement's been adjusted." Adjusted. The word landed like ice. Tiffany slid into Pam's chair, sighing theatrically. "These seats are comfier," she whispered, leaning close. "Try the back row. Builds character." Silence smothered the room. A clerk dropped his pen. A reporter stopped typing. Pam's knuckles whitened, but her face stayed steady. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a digital recorder, and pressed record. "This is Pam Bondi, 9:05 a.m. I've been removed from my counsel table by Judge Steele's order, replaced by an attorney not on the docket. Documenting for the record." Gasps rippled. Tiffany's smirk faltered. Pam walked to the Mac bench, sat, and opened her files, her hands precise but her eyes burning. No one knew her briefcase held a sealed envelope from a whistleblower, alleging Tiffany had laundered thousands through class action settlements. No one knew she'd already sent copies to the Office of Special Counsel, and no one could predict that within hours, Tiffany's live stream, meant to mock Pam, would implode spectacularly. By noon, the internet was ablaze. Tiffany's stream, meant to flaunt her dominance, had been hacked. A grainy clip spliced into the feed showed her passing a slim envelope to a court clerk, whispering, "She doesn't play ball. That seat's mine." The clerk nodded. "It's arranged." Reddit threads erupted. Dorscher's stolen justice trended on X. TikTok creators dissected the clip, frame by frame. Tiffany scrambled to delete it. Too late. Tiffany toxic surged and sponsors quietly pulled contracts. Inside the courthouse, Pam sat motionless, eyes on the judge's bench. A paralegal whispered, "They're saying you were set up. People are furious." Pam didn't blink. She'd known for months this wasn't about one seat. It was a test. 3 weeks earlier, she'd filed a complaint against Voss and Steele, alleging collusion to rig high-stakes trials for corporate payouts. It hadn't gained traction until today. Her phone buzzed, a message from a blocked sender. "You're not alone." Attached was a video from a courthouse elevator. Tiffany and Steele laughing. Tiffany saying, "If she doesn't move, we'll humiliate her. Too old school to fight back." Pam saved it to her legal cloud, labeled proof_00001. Outside, a crowd formed. Veterans, clients, strangers holding signs. Let Pam speak. One read, "If fairness picks favorites, justice is dead." Inside, Tiffany's confidence cracked, her eyes darting to her phone. Steele called a recess, her gavel sharp. Pam stood, walking deliberately to the hallway. She didn't need a podium, just time. She had footage, motive, and momentum. The next move would be hers. By 4:45 p.m., the courtroom hummed with panic. Tiffany whispered frantically to her team, her perfect curls wilting. Steele's robe seemed to weigh heavier. She cleared her throat. "Miss Voss, your motion to file defamation charges against Counsel Bondi is accepted for review. Proceed." Reporters exchanged glances. Pam rose unfazed. She'd anticipated this. Attack first, bury truth in noise. Tiffany stood, voice shaky beneath bravado. "Your Honor, I've suffered reputational harm, economic losses, harassment from a doctored video falsely implying unethical conduct." Pam leaned forward, expression unreadable. "Your Honor, may I respond?" Steele nodded. Pam's voice was calm, surgical. "I haven't altered any content, but I have new evidence." She produced a flash drive. Uncut footage from a courthouse elevator sent by an anonymous whistleblower, dated 3 days before trial. The room stilled. The drive was played. On screen, Tiffany and Steele laughed in the elevator. Tiffany's voice, "If she doesn't move, we'll humiliate her. She's too old school." Silence swallowed the courtroom. Pam continued, "I didn't release this to the media. Someone else did. The public knows what this court must. This trial was rigged." Tiffany's lawyer leapt up. "Objection! No verified chain of custody." Steele's hand shot up, her face pale. "Sit down," Pam pressed on. 3 weeks ago, I filed a complaint with the Judicial Review Board about Judge Steele and Miss Voss's conflicts of interest. It was ignored." She placed a thick folder on the clerk's desk. "Until today, Your Honor, I request your recusal in a federal inquiry into judicial misconduct." Steele's eyes flickered. Fear, not defiance. After a pause, she exhaled. "I'll recuse." Reporters surged. A lawyer muttered, "Oh my God." Tiffany trembled. Steele added softly, "Miss Voss, the DOJ requests your financial records from 7 class action settlements. Retain criminal counsel." The room detonated silently. Tiffany Toxic flared anew. For Pam, this wasn't about hashtags. It was about accountability. The system had to answer, and she was just beginning. The next morning, a plain envelope arrived at Pam's home. No return address. Inside, a letter offered $8 million, a magazine feature, and a board seat to drop her motion, withdraw her complaint, and call the courtroom incident a misunderstanding. Silence for a fortune. Pam stared at it, coffee untouched. Across the street, strangers gathered. Veterans, students, a mother and daughter in flag hoodies, watching, waiting. She wrote "denied" in red ink, then drafted a new motion. Emergency Senate oversight on judicial bias and media influence. Bold, maybe reckless, but she had nothing to lose. By noon, the rejected offer leaked. Social media roared, "She chose the people." "She did not sell out" trended. The DOJ's Office of Special Counsel logged hundreds of tips tying Steele's court to favoritism, many linked to Voss's cases. Pam's team met that night, tense. "They're in war mode," one said. "They'll smear you. Personal attacks, anonymous lies." Pam nodded. "So we go louder, legal, public." At 10:02 p.m., Pam walked into a CNN studio. No friendly outlet. The anchor pressed, "Why not take the settlement?" Pam looked at the camera. "Justice isn't for sale. That seat wasn't mine. It belonged to every attorney told to sit down while someone louder takes their place. The clip went viral. The next morning, the Judiciary Oversight Committee announced a public hearing on judicial bias, with Pam as the first witness, Steele subpoenaed second. Outside Pam's office, crowds grew. Candles, flags, a boy with a future lawyer tag. On her desk, a yellow pad bore one line. Truth isn't disruptive. It's uncomfortable for those hiding. She underlined it and kept writing. 5 days later, the Senate chamber brimmed before dawn. Senators, reporters, protesters outside. At 10 a.m., Pam entered in deep navy, no pin, just a folder. Senator Mark Carver began, "Miss Bondi, this hearing investigates judicial bias and trial access, specifically Courtroom 6B. Proceed." Pam's voice was steady. "What happened wasn't about a seat. It was a symptom. The country's watching to see if you'll look deeper." She slid a chart forward. 47 cases, 7 states, involving Steele or affiliates, with counsel altered mid-trial, no public explanation. In 39, replacement attorneys tied to 3 legal PR firms. Miss Voss appeared in 22 gas rows. A senator pressed, "Is this coordinated?" Pam didn't waver. "I'm stating it." She clicked a remote. A screen showed Steele in a deposition room, sipping wine, laughing. "Courtrooms don't belong to law. They belong to narrative. We pick who gets the mic." Silence. Then a man stood, mid-40s, nervous, holding a DOJ ID. "I'm Jeremy Blake, data analyst. I've tracked judicial scheduling anomalies for 3 years. Miss Bondi's right. I have proof." Murmurs exploded. Carver called a recess to review Blake's data. Pam walked through the hallway, citizens chanting, "No more silence." She didn't speak. The truth did. When Steele entered, cameras locked on her gray blazer, no robe, face aged. Carver held a folder. "Judge Steele, do you deny manipulating trial assignments?" Steele inhaled. "I didn't act alone." The room rippled. There was pressure. "I didn't create the game. I played it." Carver flashed emails, calendars, showing Steele's meetings with Voss's firm and lobbyists. "You changed trials for optics? Accepted gifts?" Steele nodded. "Yes." A Senate aide rushed in with a classified folder. Carver read aloud. "A wire transfer from Senator Royce Hanlon's passee to Steele's foundation, which funneled fees to Voss." Hanlon stood shouting, "This is a smear." Carver cut him off. "You were a financial conduit. Face ethics charges or resign." Steele looked at Pam, whispering, "I was wrong. You weren't crazy." Pam nodded, no triumph, just clarity. Outside, thousands chanted, "Pam was right." She told reporters, "This isn't victory. It's an unmasking. We can't unsee the truth." 3 months later, Courtroom 6B had changed. The counsel table's plaque read, "Reserved for counsel, not influence." A bronze sign replaced a rusted one. "Justice doesn't fear the flag." Above Pam's former bench hung a framed photo, her standing resolute as Tiffany laughed, now a symbol of defiance. Pam wasn't there. At Georgetown Law, she entered a classroom, students rising. She smiled. "Sit." From her bag, she pulled a draft. Judicial Reform Act, 58 pages mandating courtroom transparency, third-party reviews, and expression protections sponsored by her. She held up a citation from that day. Violation, unauthorized symbol, then her flag pin. "This got me removed. This I wore to the Senate." A student spoke, voice shaky. "Because of you, I'm writing about courtroom expression." Pam nodded. "It's always been a thing, just unnamed." Another student lingered, holding a hearing transcript. "I was quitting law. You changed my mind." Pam met his eyes. "You stood up today." That matters. In her office, frames line the wall, her father's medal, her law license, the protest photo, a paid $500 fine receipt. A glass etching read, "Truth doesn't break, it rises." Outside, a flag waved. Once peaceful, now it sparked readiness. Justice hadn't ended, it had begun.